how was your experience over here, and how did it help you in the interview stage as well? So can you take us through that journey? When was the first time you thought about entering into the civil services? So how was it for you? How did you tackle current affairs? If you see the questions directly in the examination from the classes or the handouts that you have taken, how does it improve your attempt? How would you integrate? How would you write better answers with current affairs reference? What were the various approaches for you in terms of writing the body part? How important that current affairs is for all the subjects? What was your biggest challenge that you faced in your mains journey? So what are those three things, let's say, which you want to tell to the students who are going to appear in the prelims examination this year? Hi everyone, a very warm welcome to this podcast session of Vajiram and Ravi. Today I have a very special guest with me, rank 123, PRIYANSHU Agrawal. I am very excited and really curious about his journey, just like you all. So PRIYANSHU was a student of our Smart Current Affairs program. He also had joined the prelims test series as well and the sure shot programs. So we'll talk with PRIYANSHU about his journey, the entire inspiring journey that he has had, what has been his experience with the programs with Vajiram and Ravi, and we'll talk about current affairs, we'll talk about prelims examination, we'll talk about mains, answer writing, all those stuff. So welcome PRIYANSHU, very warm welcome, and thank you for giving your time. I really congratulate you on the rank that you have got. So PRIYANSHU, how does it make you feel, like rank improvement? You're already in services, right? So how does it make you feel improving the rank and the stage you are into?
Like last year I got rank 442. I was assigned IRMS. This time I got 123. I believe that the journey of rank improvement was more tougher comparatively, because then you have to do the fine tunings.
Exactly.
But I'm also very much thankful. I'm grateful to the UPSC, first of all, because they have given me the opportunity to be amongst the top ranks. And now I'm feeling more responsible, honestly, coming to the topper ranks.
Yeah.
I believe I will be given assigned more important roles, more important responsibility. And I'm looking forward to serve them in a right passion and a right dedication.
So basically you would be expecting IPS as a service, and so how do you look at it?
So as an IPS, the most important aspect is about law and order per se. So for me, managing law and order for the government of India is really a very huge responsibility, but also an opportunity where I could be somebody who can make the differences. Also, a mechanism to learn from the best in the business, specifically with my seniors. Like I got an opportunity to interact with few of the IPS officer, and apart from that, bring upon my contribution to the table in policing and for the law and order, so that we can move in a right direction in the upcoming times for the nation.
Perfect. We really need more officers like you. So PRIYANSHU, this was your fourth attempt, right? And it has been a long journey for you, and the rank that you have got is the dream for so many students who are watching this podcast and who are entering this field of civil services. This is the admission time also. A lot of students are coming in. So can you take us through that journey? When was the first time you thought about entering into the civil services? I know you have a very inspiring and motivating journey to share. So take us through the journey, the first thought of becoming, let's say, an IPS officer, an IAS officer, whatever it is, and then to this particular stage. Take us through the journey. Yeah.
I was a JE aspirant, an IIT aspirant initially. One of the prominent place, Kota. I have been there to study there. So actually at that time we were totally driven by science. We were looking just to get into IIT. That IIT tag is bigger than life at that moment.
Correct.
So with my batchmates, I've seen people actually on a very suicidal tendency, because at that time everything boils down to getting into IIT. We were not focusing on mental health or on our psychological well-being. So I think at that moment I was more concerned that why are we in such a mode where we are not focusing on mental health and everything was about results. So when I got to my colleges and when I was exploring my opportunities, so I found that mental health is something which we are not actually being talking about a lot. Specifically, most of us being an aspirant in most of our lifetime, initially in very adolescence age or after that. So mental health is something which I started focusing a lot. Even for my attempts also, if I see, I was able to clear prelims in first, but not even to clear prelims in second attempt. And so it's more like a roller coaster stuff. You started feeling yourself lost, isolated, because after reading a lot, you come and feel like you are not even able to clear the level 1. So what helped me a lot that with the mentorship coming up in the market and with the coachings providing mentorship also, and you we are now able to get the counseling sessions with the mental health experts we can connect. So I fall back to them. I contacted different mental health experts, career counselors. So they help me come out of those shell, because as most of the aspirants today, what we see that once they fail, they go into their shell.
Right.
They totally ghettoize themselves. They don't open up with the people. They don't talk to their parents, with their friends, and the problem then accelerates like to the next level. So from my experience, I'll say that at some point of time, we have to look beyond the results. And if we are very much confident on our mental health, if we are mentally good, sound, so we can use the experiences from our preparation as an aspirant to do much better, not just restrict to civil services results, but we can bring out a lot of things that we have learned from the subject to the other fields also.
So that's very inspiring, Priyanshu, the thing that you have told about mental health. And I think so many aspirants who are viewing us right now, they would really relate with your journey of mental health and the way you are talking about mental health in this public forum. And so I would just want to tell you, all the aspirants, that see, a topper like Priyanshu can also face mental health issues. So it's not a taboo. You need to talk openly about it. This exam is like that. There is so much pressure. And so we need not worry about this particular thing. So Priyanshu, I will just take you from this mental health topic and would want to take you into the challenges of UPSC as an examination. The first and the foremost challenge which I want to talk about is the challenge of current affairs. So how was it for you? How did you tackle current affairs? And was it very challenging for you? And what all journey you had with current affairs? Just let us take through that journey.
Current affairs is definitely an important aspect of UPSC preparation. So for current affairs, there is largely a sense of infodemic that is going around the market specifically, because there are a lot of coachings, there are a lot of institutions coming up with the materials, and one have thousands of material to refer. So we generally fall into that prey of reading a same kind of material from different coachings, and we think that we have studied a lot, but at the end, if you'll see, we are just replicating our same material. So my advice first of all is that we have to be very choosy and restrictive to study current affairs. So from my experience, I use short material of Vajiram and Ravi. So that was very helpful. Specifically, everybody can pick up their favorite choices, because it's totally on them. It's totally your wish. Whichever you like, just pick it up and follow it very comprehensively. And let's not differentiate between prelims, mains or interview. It's a very connected journey. So if you are reading a current affairs for prelims, try to learn them in a mechanism that you can use them in mains also. Like I remember we were getting the PDFs
from the smart current affairs
classes, where we were given the keywords in a special boxes. So I know that at the end my answer should have them, because in the mains, if we are not giving that value addition, so we are not getting that edge of marks. So those keywords I have directly replicated in my answers. I have underlined them. I have shown the evaluator that I know what is going on in the current market, and in this manner I was not burned myself. I was not going after beating around again and again reading the same current affairs, but I was smart enough to use the current affairs, whether it is for prelims and mains, in a mechanism that I have a one common notes, one common material to fall to the current affairs, and use it either in a static questions or current affairs question in a manner that it suffices the need of the exams.
Right. So can you say that see, there are two ways of reading current affairs probably. One would be the basic sources of, let's say, newspapers and going to the magazine, and lot of stuff is given over there. And then you have, let's say, a program which is giving you consolidated material, specific topics only, might be high yielding topics only. So how does it make a difference 2 months before the mains examination? How do these consolidated material make a difference in your preparation?
Honestly, sir, I believe that if we are reading the whole of a newspaper, nothing can replace them. It is one of the best sources.
That is something which we definitely have to do it.
Definitely have to use it, because then only we made this vocabulary. Because it is not just about current affairs reading and writing. It is about creating those vocabulary and those sensitivity about the topics.
Yeah, the understanding about the issues which are going on.
Yes, sir. Like there's a craze of reading editorials, but editorials must be read in a manner that we create the sensitivity of the topic. We understand the idea purpose, that why are we thinking on that topic and what is actually needed to be learned from that particular topic.
Right.
So that cannot be replaced. But when we are very much close to the exam, I know from my personal experience that if we read a newspaper, we actually are not able to give good amount of time to practice.
Correct.
Because at the end, we everything boils down to how we write in an answers. So at that time, sir, it is in my capacity, I restricted myself to those material. Like I got a smart class, current affairs classes, PDFs, where the material was very concise.
Yes.
So like if I have, for example, I read about MSP issues from the newspaper, but just before a few days back the examination, I would be needing those keywords to highlight
short
in the
notes,
answer.
consolidated
Short notes or
like
concise notes.
Yeah.
So earlier it was a challenge when we have to create it ourselves. But now when we are getting it from the coachings or from different institutions, we can actually rely one of them. Let's not, honestly, we cannot go and ask every coaching to do it. If you are following any one coaching, take those concise notes and add your values to them, and that can be the last day material for you.
Correct.
Because sir, one thing that I also want to add, that when we write mains, generally what happens that day before when we go for the mains examination, I carried a suitcase full of my copies and books,
notes and everything,
and I don't know what to revise at the last moment. So this attempt, what I did, I just have one copy each for GS 1, 2, 3, 4. Since I know static is something which I was reading, I could actually not read it because I won't be getting a lot of time. So these concise notes, 1 pages, specifically for current affairs, and on them I put my keywords from newspapers or different sources like Yojana magazines or something. I just put those words on those PDFs on those pages, and that was the material I was reading just before the paper, and I could actually replicate in exam. So I think that was the value addition I could do.
Right. So it's easier to revise when you have less rather than reading a lot before the mains examination, which will just flood your mind with a lot of information. So this time, like in the mains 2024, we almost got this 25 questions directly from the classes and the handout. So what do you think, like as in if you see the questions directly in the examination from the classes or the handouts that you have taken, how does it improve your attempt? Like how does it help you write better answers, or let's say improve your mental status at that point of time? Okay, fine, I have read it. So how does it help you in the examination?
Sir, like with the intensity of question and 20 questions to answer in a 3 hours window, we cannot actually write every answer in a 8-minute or 10-minute window that we create. Like we generally keep 8 minutes for 10 markers or 10 or 9.5 minutes for 15 markers. That is very idealistic. So at times we have to do some questions in 6 to 7 minutes to get those 1-2 minutes extra for questions that we don't know. So like I remember there were a few questions specifically in IR, like all 4 questions are directly from the material. I have got all 4 questions covered in the current affairs part. So I could actually know that I could solve this question in 6-7 minutes. So I got those 1-2 minutes extra
for the other questions where you have to think.
Yes. So like there was some question with lot of subparts. There were question where we have to bifurcate into so many sub understandings, sub headings. So I could use my those few minutes saved in those questions. So whenever we get a question which we are very comfortable and which we have read before, we could actually save a lot of time from there. And because at the end 1 minute, 2 minutes make up most of the differences. And we can give that time to the questions where we have to actually recall, we have to bring upon our content. So that helps us, like if we have directly read some questions.
And we can directly write above average answers with less effort in some of the questions.
Yes, sir. And with the value.
With value addition.
Yes, sir.
So now let me take you to the other domain which is very difficult for the students, and that is integrating the current affairs with the answers. So, and then I'll take you into the answer writing wala domain. So what I want to ask you is that let's say you have lot of content on current affairs on one hand, and then the questions in the examinations are not going to directly on the current affairs, right? It's like integrating the current affairs into the static portion or into the questions. So what was your approach with respect to that? How would you integrate, how would you write better answers with current affairs reference?
Sir, I think the best way is to practice. Like if we do test series, when we write answers, first of all, the best way to start is by solving PYQs.
Yeah.
Like mains PYQ is something which will give you the idea of the UPSC language of question. Because if we read it in a very fast manner, we won't be able to do the subparting of it. But if we are in a preparation mode, we could actually identify what are the subparts of the mains questions.
Right.
So if we start inculcating those current affairs even on the previous year questions, which were actually not even current if we see in that time, that is when our brain are wired to inculcate current affairs even in static questions. This is how our approach should be, and for that, practice is the only mechanism. Like we should not bifurcate whether it's a static question or a current question. It's a question. It's not written in UPSC paper, it's a static question or current question. Current must be used in a mechanism to extract those 0.5 or 1 marks extra from other people, because you are showcasing your understanding of knowledge. You are appreciating the concept that is going in a current time to link it to the static question and showcasing that I am actually able to understand the concept behind it.
Context in which the question was asked.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So let's break down this answer writing wala thing a bit more. We have 3 parts. Let's say the introduction, body, and the conclusion. So let's say in the introduction, as you said, you can write the context in which the question has been asked. What were the various approaches for you in terms of writing the body part? Like specifically the body part, depending on the kind of questions, how would you approach that part? Do you have a framework, things like that? Yeah.
So like earlier I was very restrictive in my approach. It was more like writing pros, cons, conclusion. So I was not following the tail words. Like this is something which people generally don't understand.
Exactly.
Or even I didn't understand honestly. So if the question is discuss, is it about critically analyze, it is about to comment. We generally don't understand those keywords.
We don't differentiate between them.
We don't differentiate it. And I think that has cost me also an attempt in first attempt of my mains, or even in third attempt when I could not secure a good amount of marks in mains. So that was the first thing that I learned from the Ranker Short program last year. So there was a focus on understanding tail words. Secondly, sir, in a body, we have to understand that at the body, whatever we are writing, it should make sense. We should not be like, for me, I don't believe in writing 10 points in 10 markers or 15 points in 15 markers. I believe writing what is necessary in the questions makes a difference. If I'm writing 4 points, but I'm genuinely knowing that these 4 points are the true demand of a question.
The most important points.
So I would actually stop my desire to write more there. I'll write 4 or 5 points. Then I move to the next sub part. I'll try to answer them. And also, sir, I won't be beating around the bush, because I have 150 words to write 10 markers. If I start writing stories and if I write everything on the paper, I'll be not even getting the spaces. And even if I have the spaces, I won't be sufficing to the question. So we have to control our temptations to write what we know. We should at the end write what they want us to write. So that is something which we have to inculcate. And apart from that, when we are writing body, we should be smart to use the current affairs context, because that is something which will also help in substantiation. We just can't write arguments, because at the end we are not the subject experts. We cannot have the viewpoints totally based on us. We need substantiation to showcase that from where our arguments
are we saying this, what we are writing in the paper.
Because at the end, whosoever will be evaluating, he'll be subject experts.
Correct.
So he or she will be looking upon if she writing this point, from where the references are coming up, from where he is getting those ideas. So substantiation of point is very important.
That is where the current affairs reference comes in handy.
Exactly. Like if we know the context, like in polity, generally it comes from the Supreme Court cases.
Judgments.
If you write the cases, you can understand that, okay, from there the context has come up. Or in sociology, it's about the social issues that are coming up, or the new trends that are coming up. Like if you are aware, like we are in a post-modernist society. So the liquidity in society that has been upcoming in these stages, or use of social media is a new form of creating social institutions, social structures. So those sensitivity has to be shown in the mains answer rather than running behind writing 10 points or 15 points approach.
Exactly. So basically, you are saying that quality matters much more as compared to quantity.
Yes,
so that's a very good learning, I think, for the aspirants as well. They keep running behind lot of points, lot of material and everything, but ultimately it boils down to what quality of argument you are writing. Okay, so moving on from this particular thing, answer writing was very beautifully explained by you. How would you is there a relevance or the implication of current affairs across the subjects, as in from essay to ethics and your optionals also? So how would you see that particular thing? How important that current affairs is for all the subjects?
So current affairs is that thing, if you have a command on it, you can get a H.
Yeah.
Like even if I'm writing an essay, it has to be interesting because when you are writing something, topic given, you have to express in thousands word. If you are not able to bring in the interest, or if you're not able to connect it to something which is burning in these times,
happening now. Yeah.
So the evaluator might see ki okay, he knows something
General
but
stuff.
he's not able to appreciate what is the true philosophy or true need of the question. So that is where the current affairs comes upon. So what I started understanding is that let's not read current affairs just for the sake of remembering. We have to understand that why is that current coming up, why is that building occurring up. So like my optional is sociology. Last year I remember my answers were totally static. It was totally about writing sociological thinkers in one after another, and I got 250. So that was a very low score in sociology. This time around, what I started doing is that every day social events are taking occur. Places. If I could bring in those examples, those understanding of current affairs, so that was something which could be the game changer. Like there were questions about religious changes, religiosity or something like that. So like I read that there's a concept of Durkheim, sacred and profane. So I could connect it with the coming up of Corona Devi temple during COVID times in Tamil Nadu.
That's a great one.
Yes. So I started bringing those sociological jargons, those examples from current affairs with my content. And I think those are the edges that have helped me improve by 40-50 marks across the mains.
Making your answers more relevant, more catchy, more interesting, in fact, reading something which is in news. Okay. So now just a quick question to you. Throughout your mains journey, okay, I'm talking, because we'll talk about prelims in a great depth that is fast approaching. Throughout your mains journey, from the starting to this particular point of time, what was your biggest challenge? As in, let's leave current affairs now. What was your biggest challenge that you faced in your mains journey?
Sir, initially I thought it was the game of speed. So I was thinking that completing paper is everything that it takes. But later I realized it is not about just a speed, it is about understanding the question. Like generally what we think is, if we just see a question, we catch a word and we start writing. So at that point I believe it is important to read the whole question, understand what the question actually want to ask. Like if sometimes what we see, okay, there's a problem of water, we start writing everything about water and later we realize that it was not actually the water, it was a passing by reference given in the question. So in the mains my approach changes to understanding the question. If I have to put a minute more to understand the question, I will not hesitate.
You'll put it that minute.
I'll give that minute to the
it's
question.
Better to write as per the question.
Yes sir. Like if I'll beat around the bush, I don't write anything, I will be getting a 0 or 1 or 2, something like that. Mostly in 0 or 1 in a binomial senses. So I thought, okay, give me a minute more. If I could leave some sub part, won't be an issue. But if I'll able to write few parts, at least 3-4 marks is there.
Whatever I will write, I'll
write it, which is need of the question and not just beat around the bush.
So, okay, next very important question which comes up in the minds of the students, and even I am very curious how you handled it. So when I take these classes, a lot of students come in, they show me the notes, sir, this is the notes which I have made, can you please check if it is fine or not? So what was your approach with respect to note making? Because these days also there's a buzz in the 2-3 years ago you would see the buzz was answer writing. Now the buzz has shifted to note making. So what's your approach? What's your opinion on this? How important notes are, and when should you make it, when you can skip it, something like that, or short notes, long notes, whatever it is?
Sir, I think the basic understanding of making notes is that you can revise through it, and revision which is comfortable to you. So first of all, I believe that for every aspirant, if they are making notes, they must not discuss it with anyone.
Okay.
Because these notes are for them.
Right.
It is not for the market, or it is not for other people to show. Like if I am making my notes, it is for me to give me that comfort that when I have to revise those topics, I could fall back to those notes and I could revise them. So for every aspirants, my small suggestion will be that make notes in a manner that you are comfortable with.
It is your notes.
It is your
rather than-
personal notes. Like notes is not something like you have to showcase to the world. It is for your reference. For me, sir, if I'll showcase you my notes, it was all about hub and spoke model.
Okay. Diagrammatic format of notes.
I'll just write a heading. I'll just put out some spokes, some key points, and that's it.
That's it.
And I'm pretty sure this model will not work for everyone.
Correct.
So everybody has to be very choosy. Everybody has to look upon to their comfort zone, and they have to make it in a manner that they can fall back to them when they want to revise something, or they want to look upon to them for the references. Apart from that, sir, with the coming of lot of e-materials, so generally note making has got outsourced.
Yeah.
It is more about marking on the sheets, or underlining or headlining them. But I believe that since mains is about writing answers, so if one make those handwritten notes, they get that practice also. Our fingers are become more aligned to writing. Current writing after hours, and at the time of mains also, you don't get that problem of speed or the answer not completing the paper. So let's continue by writing by hand until unless UPSC also shift mains to the digital mechanism.
Digital online method. Yeah.
So if they are giving us pen and paper, let's continue to pen and paper mechanism only.
Maybe at the start of your preparation, you can go for the digital notes, but then ultimately you have to fall back to the handwritten your own notes, because that is, I think, you will remember better during the examination also. Right. So that's one thing. So now, Priyanshu, since you were part of the prelims test series also, and prelims is fast approaching. Again, prelims is one of the areas where it's very unpredictable, and I think you also said in your second attempt, after clearing prelims in the first attempt, then in the second one you're not able to clear prelims. So how do you see that? Like, what should be the strategy for the students to clear the prelims examination? How has the test series helped you?
Sir, first of all, prelims for me is a game of maths. Also coming from the technical background, so things boil down to maths. So what I observed that we have to play with probability at the end. Like if we are good enough to go for the exam, at the last we'll be able to solve 40 questions with full accuracy at max, if we are read in a proper manner. So 40 questions at last will be around 75 to 80 marks, which one can get from the knowledge. But if we see generally the cutoffs are around 90 or 100, something like that.
88,
90. So at max, I'm thinking that we have to pick up those 30 marks extra to be on the safer side and getting into the list. So now the games boils down to how you do with your probabilities. So in that sense is the major role comes of test series and PYQs. If we do the PYQs, we subconsciously create those patterns ki okay, if the questions are coming in this manner, the answers will be this. Like generally the trends are telling us that when the questions of science and tech, then all of these are the applications, something like that. So even if you're not so much assured about the options, and you know ki you are with your knowledge you are not clearing the cutoff, and you have to take the guess. So we can actually take that guess. Okay, let's go with all of these as an answer. And I have my backing strongly from my past.
The trends that you have seen
trends
with
that we have. Because rather than getting 0, we have to fight for +2 in that questions. Because if we just leave by doing only those questions I know, I won't be clearing prelims.
Exactly.
I have to take some smart guesses. I have to use some smart techniques to solve it. So that's where we can strategize by writing test. Like for me, prelims test series has never been about getting marks. It is about trying my different approaches that I want to try it out. Like what I used to do, I give one test where I'll do all the questions of history. Even I know and I don't know. Then are some
tests. You're experimenting.
I'm experimenting. So what I found that if I'm going with the probability of using those tricks of probability in history, I am getting mostly wrong. But when I'm going for the environment, it is coming right. So what I learned from those test series, ki okay, I have to be very careful in taking
Restrictive
guess
in history,
in
and
history,
then,
and I can
fine.
choose it in
That's great.
environment.
So basically, one approach might not work for every subject.
Yes.
You have to choose ki which approach is working for which particular subject.
Exactly, sir.
And that is where the test series.
That test series comes upon.
Okay, great. So, how do you manage your time in the prelims examination? That again is a problem. Ki should you go for 1 round or 2 rounds or 3 rounds? What was the approach for you?
Sir, I made a very different strategy, and I am not suggesting that to all.
Yeah.
So for me, that thing is that for first hour, I'll go with the question after questions. I'll do it in a first sense, and after 1 hour is done, I'll go to the washroom. I'll take 5 minutes. I'll take a deep breath. I'll sit outside in the balcony or in the area where there's for the aspirants to go. I'll just sit for 5 minutes. I'll just wash my face. I'll just roam in the corridor. I won't be doing the paper.
That's a very different strategy.
Yes,
I've never heard about it.
Yes, and I won't be suggesting that it works for everyone. So once I got my mind clear, I'll come back. Then I start doing my questions, and then I go with the intuitions, because I am knowing that I have done the PYQs very sincerely. I have done my prelims test series. So at the end, my intuitions will be the right thing that will be guiding me in that last 1 hour, because there will be some adrenaline rush also, and my subconscious mind will be coming up at that time.
Correct.
So I'll be going with the intuition at that time. I always look into the paper that my target is around solving 90 to 100 at something in this middle range.
Higher range of
Of questions.
Okay.
So if I go with then after 5 minutes, I'll sit till 1:30. I'll start marking OMR. If I go around 60 questions, because at that time seeing, I know it or I don't know it. If intuition says this is the answer, I'll mark it on my OMR, so that there is no coming back to this question.
So you're completely trusting yourself.
Trusting my intuitions.
Right. Okay.
Because that is something which I fail in second attempt largely by the self-doubt mechanism. I was not going with my intuition. I was self-doubting because I was thinking UPSC ne sawal pucha hai, there has to be catch.
Exactly. This is a problem which many students face. वो difficult वाला answer mark करके आएंगे, या फिर something which is looking very different, something which is not looking right, they will mark it, because probably UPSC has played some kind of trap over there.
Tabhi that generally occurs because we don't mark OMR simultaneously. We generally think let's come back and
think again, and
so
then
once you have registered on OMR, there's no coming
back. Yes.
So let my intuition flow, because at the end, even if I'm taking the guesses thinking UPSC put up this question in a tougher manner, I could not be in the list. So it makes me no sense to falling back to that same strategy.
Correct.
But then when I started following my intuitions, I was able to clear prelims now back to back. So I'm continuing with that strategy, and that is what my approach works. But at the end, I'll suggest to every aspirant, use the test series as the playground to identify what works for you,
rather than getting demotivated with the number you are getting or the number of questions you can attempt. So I think you can use the test series to gain knowledge and test yourself. That's it. Rather than attaching too much with the marks and everything.
So sir, if I'll tell my Vajiram test marks, it was around 50 60s.
That's a great thing for the aspirants, I would say. See, the topper is sitting over here and he is scoring 50 60, so it's okay to score less in the test series,
because I know I was using it as a playground for me. I was testing a lot of things. So what happens, after writing 8-10 tests, I was clear with my strategy. Last test, same strategy, I replicated there. I got 100 plus in my final test. So you get that confidence after testing, trying different approaches, what will actually work for you in the real exams. And at the final exams, in final 5 or 10 exams, just play with the same strategy and see where it is lending you.
Fix your approach.
Yes,
so what was that time before, say 1 month before the examination or 15 days before the examination?
I think so, it was around 15 days before.
15 days before the examination, we'll fix it. Now I will not play anything. Now I will not do any experiment.
Yes, sir.
This is what it is. I will go with this particular approach.
Yes, sir. That was the approach.
So now I think almost 30 days, or less than 30 days are left for the prelims examination. People are really scared right now. The students which I meet also, they are like, kuch revise nahi hai, yaad nahi aa raha hai, marks kam aa rahe hain. So what are those 3 things, let's say, which you want to tell to the students who are going to appear in the prelims examination this year? How should they manage this 30 days or less than 30 days that we have right now?
Sir, at first, let's be honest to ourselves. We know we have put the hard works or not. So everybody must remind themselves to the words of Lord Krishna, Nishkam Karm.
Correct.
Like if they have put upon their hard work, they have sufficed to what is needed. If they have reached to that level, they should not start stressing about the result. Because if even results goes anywhere, it's not their fault.
Right.
They have put upon their hard ass. They have done what they want to do it. So they have actually be in a more comfortable zone, feeling ki okay, now let's not get complacent also. Let's follow with the strategy that I want to do it. Either I want to do test in last 30 days or I want to revise. Stay to it. Second, sir, I believe it is not the time to pick the new material.
Correct.
Because if you pick something new, you don't know, you start getting panic attacks. So let's not going finding new material.
And you might not remember it in the examination.
Exactly,
also.
sir.
It will confuse you.
It will confuse you more.
Yeah.
So restrict to notes or the materials that you are referring, or you can redo the test. Like PYQ, you can do it like 15-16 times. It will always add a value addition,
to
sir.
Develop that awareness about the paper.
Yes, sir. Like I am still very surprised. Like every day I do a PYQ. I think I have come upon to 7th, 8th iteration of a same paper, and every time I could observe a new pattern for me.
A new thing.
New
even after doing it
7-8 times.
Now people say I get bored. I know all the answers. What else is left in the PYQs?
Yes.
So it's not about just the answers. It's actually about the pattern or the trend or examiner's intention that you're getting to know.
Exactly, sir. Like there's a small insider. Maybe it can help for some. So this time when I was doing iteration, I think I looked upon to Hindi side also the paper. Okay, let me read ki Hindi mein kya language hai. And sir, when I read Hindi, I could understand ancient medieval question in a more right manner than the what I was reading in English. Because when the Hindi terms are coming up, you can actually word play it. You can break the tail words or small words out of the definition that has been asked ki uska kya matlab hai ya what does it mean. So you can actually you can link that कि अच्छा if I have to take the guess at the end, I'll read that Hindi part, I'll understand कि हिंदी में वो क्या लिखा है, और because हिंदी में क्या है कि हम वर्ड काट के संधि विच्छेद जैसे हम कर पाते थे, तो we can actually pick up those small words and we can link कि चलो अगर रिस्क लेना है तो I'll play with that. So in this manner, if you iterate ना, you start doing lot of such testing. You push your limits, you look upon कि okay ये क्या है, फिर with time what you start creating that interest ki understand the options. Generally what we do, we know the answers, but that is not the end. What are the other 3 options? Why have they been put upon? How are they writing those options? So you get into those type of technicalities, you get into the mindset of what the examiner are testing up. So that I believe has helped me.
That is, apart from knowledge, you need these skills to solve the prelims paper. That's a very good strategy, I think, for the students. They should note it down. So moving on, Priyanshu, how is your daily routine looks like? Like how disciplined are you, or what is your schedule? How do you break your day when you are preparing? Right now, I hope you are not doing it anymore.
So, sir, I'm not a R person. Like I'm not somebody who will be putting the hard hours, sitting 8 or 10 hours, something like that. I'm not the R person. What I do when I get up in the morning, I'll fix my targets. Okay, today I'll read this topics, and let's see कि कितने time में हो सकता है. I'll create on an average कितने time में हो सकता है. But if they are not,
so you set the targets before.
Morning is all about setting targets. It's not about reading something.
First thing in the morning is setting
up the targets. Ki I'll do this. Either I write one test, read this topics, or I do. Generally, it's like I do one test and evaluate, make strategy and total introspection and पूरा forensic of that test types. तो वही approach रहता था. So what I used to do, I fix like okay, this will take 6-7 hours, and that is for me for the day. But at times it can be done in 2-3 hours. Okay, I do nothing after that.
Alright.
If it's done in 2-3 hours, it's my brain that has helped me to get that extra hours. I'll need nothing after that.
Great.
But at times 6-7 hours not done, have to go to 10-12 hours, I will not back off. Since I have taken that leeway before of if I have done early, I am taken that break.
So you have taken that break.
Now when I have to put up on those hard hours of 8 to 10 hours, I'll sit, I'll complete my targets, and that's it.
So it's more about setting realistic targets, number one, and then sticking to it.
So
you need to know about yourself how much you can finish off in a day.
Yes, sir.
And realistic target setting, I think it's a very important skill.
Like once you start preparing and you get into that zone, you have to have all three ready: short term, medium, and long term.
Long-term goals.
Like you know ki till prelims at what dates you have to finish your revisions of your test. So you have to have those as a long term targets. Medium term targets are weekly targets. Like in this week I have to complete the polity, I have to complete these subjects. And daily targets, to achieve those medium targets, what are your daily targets to it? So if you can just make those, it takes time. It is not easy. Honestly, I'm telling, things will come up, your targets will go up
You will
and
miss
down.
on the targets.
Yes. But with the time, with continuous practices, you started making those amendments in your strategy with your targets that it give you that flexibility to adjust some shocks or some up and downs.
Right.
So that actually works for us. And sir,
It's a trial and error
it's
process.
a trial and error process. And one honest thing is that I know this may sound very odd for every student, but see, it's not only a game of knowledge. At the end, either if all of us who have cleared, if you ask us to write the whole process again, I'm pretty sure we cannot say ki we'll come upon to the same rank or improve in the next attempt.
Correct.
Even most of us might fail in prelims
itself. Yeah.
So it's not always a game of knowledge. So everything boils down ki how you are putting your right work, how much you are true to your work. If you have done with that, nothing more you can expect it, and be proud on yourself ki okay, I have done what I could done, because uncontrollables are something which is not in your hand.
Yeah.
You put your hard ass, paper is all on that direction which you think was not so important.
Correct.
It's not your mistake. It's totally uncontrollable. With so much of knowledge and just 100 MCQs coming up, surely there will be some of us, for us all hundreds are not known.
Correct.
There will be some of us, but we have actually read a lot. So trust me, if you are done with the process, if you have done your studies in a right manner, never ever think ki result kya aata hai.
Yeah, the process is more important than the results. Trust your process.
Trust the process.
Go in the examination and perform.
Yes, sir. Because at the end, being a good human is the biggest importance.
Yeah, correct.
If you are a good human, if you are better version of yourself from yesterday, that is more important in life.
That should give you more happiness and satisfaction rather
yes,
than anything
sir.
else.
Like I know few of my friends, like they could not make it up, but they were like more well prepared than me. But when I see them now today, so they are using the knowledge of UPSC in different fields, and they are actually in a very happy space now.
Correct. So UPSC is not end of the journey. It's not bigger than life.
Yes, sir.
You either become an officer or you take the learnings and apply it somewhere else in the field.
Bilkul, sir.
So Priyanshu, you were also taking you to the last stage of this particular podcast. You were also the student of IGP, like you had joined the IGP. So how was your experience over here, and how did it help you in the interview stage as well?
So honestly, in the bureaucratic mock, I was not satisfied. I also told the team that it was like more of a grilling thing. Like I don't know, maybe it was preparing for worst case scenario.
Exactly, maybe sometimes.
Maybe that is the approach for them. And also since they were pushing me for 200 plus, because last year I got 119 interview. So maybe
so they were expecting more from you.
More from me. So maybe that. But one-to-one with Ravindran sir is something which cannot be replaced. Like the sir's experience and his understanding of the process is something which contributes the most of it.
Exactly.
Specifically, sir, with once you get to the services, there's all different expectations from you in the board. So sir was able to tell me that okay, these are the areas which you now have to read more than other aspirants, because these are the area where you will be targeted. Also, since we got into the services before, they expect us to know something about the services in depth, which is as more than the public domain.
Correct.
So that understanding, that key important topics, that is there for me. So highlighting those helped me to streamline my process, synchronize my approaches, how I have to prepare for the interview and not get panicked up. So that has helped me a lot, sir.
Right. That's really great. So last bit of question, or let's say curiosity from my end. So you will be getting IPS this year. So how do you see yourself down the line 5-10 years? How would you use this particular opportunity or responsibility that you have got? What is the vision in your mind about yourself or the service that you have got?
Sir, when I started my preparation, I was more inclined to when I get any services, to integrate my knowledge of mental health in the services. So 5-10 years down the line, what I'm seeing is that whether I'm in a police services or any other services, whichever, or in some attachment or something, I will be promoting a lot of mental health inside my department.
Correct.
Because since we are the leader of one of the prestigious institutions of government of India, we will be managing a lot of personnel under us.
Yes.
We have to also have that kind of empathy or understanding for our team also. So my first target is that whatever team I'll be commanding or whatever the people I'll be in charge of them, I will ensure that their mental health awareness, their mental health well-being is being taken care of. They are being aware, they have been provided support in a all sort of possible mechanism for the counseling or for, like we all know how police is actually been overworked, how they are not getting those mental comfort. So I will be trying to inculcate those understanding in the team.
So bringing in more and more human face
in
the,
that. And
services.
And apart from that, to the public, wherever I will be serving, I want to reach to the groundest of level.
That's great.
My understanding of sociology, reading in a depth of Indian sociology, especially about the rural India or everything. So we have to have that level of understanding, that level of connect with the people, so that we will be accessible to all. I don't want to be an elite officer. I don't want to be somebody sitting in the AC offices and just all sort of paperworks. I want to go into the field. I want to talk to the people, and whatever learnings that I have taken from my life and what are the things I could learn from them, I want this communication to go on forever and ever, and I want to help them in the way possible and the way government expects me, because at the end, if we are targeting Viksit Bharat 2047, we cannot leave anyone behind. So on the same pages, on the same note, I'll be going upon as my officer journey.
That's great. I think this last words from you has given me also goosebumps, and I personally congratulate you and wish you all the best from the team of Vajiram also, that you be that officer which you are visualizing. So any last bit of advice that you would like to give to the students who are listening to us, anything from your end to the students who are entering this preparation, who are going to give the prelims, who are struggling in this phase, anything from Priyanshu?
I'll keep it short. I have already spoken a lot and I don't want to bore you anymore. So just two things I want to tell you. First is that the message of Lord Krishna about Nishkam Karma, I'm repeating the same.
Yes.
It is because see, at the end, 1,000 people are making to the list. So at the end, even after you study like hell, if you have given everything to the paper, there are chances we cannot be in the list. But trust me, if your process is right, if you have actually read yourself, you're a better version of yourself from yesterday.
Correct.
So everybody should target to be a better version of themselves. Use this knowledge for right work, for right spirit, and creating those personality inside you. Second and foremost is that don't put your mental health on a check. Do focus on that. Don't isolate yourself in the preparation. Since I'm writing UPSC, I have to move out of everybody. I have to isolate. I have to ghettoize myself. Please don't do it. Talk to the mentors, talk to the teachers. Parents can be the best source, or your school friends, college friends, anybody you feel connected anytime, whether it's success, it's failure. Do talk to them. Be a modest winner and a smiling loser is a small quote that I used to follow it up. And always be cheerful. Always be somebody who is the person who can actually be happy in sad moments, because happiness is what is the real victory for everyone.
Correct. Thank you so much, Priyanshu. So to all our viewers, this was Priyanshu. We had great session. Nishkam Karma is something which even I am going to take it for myself. Prioritizing your mental health. UPSC is not bigger than life, and the smart strategies which Priyanshu told at each and every stage of the examination, be it prelims, mains or interview. You have to be smart, you have to do the hard work, and I think we have got a lot of information. Priyanshu, thank you so much for sharing a lot of your experiences from various dimensions, and from the team of Vajiram and from myself, I really congratulate you and all the best to your success in the future. Thank you so much, Priyanshu, for giving us your time. Thank you.
Thank you so much.